From AIT Studios in Abuja, Nigeria, this is the O&M Late Show with Obiora Ilo and Mamode Akuga.
Hello and welcome to your show, the O&M Late Show. I am Obiora Ilo. Mamode is away tonight, but that takes nothing out of the show because we have a very tight package for you today. Today looks like we have a lot of good news. Oh, they say our budget was not missing. Actually, somebody said it's not our budget missing. If anything was missing, it was the budget proposal. So the budget proposal was not missing. Oh, there was a little mistake by the presidency. They needed to take it back, to make all the corrections. Only in Nigeria. That's where you hear things like that. You spend an entire year or months or weeks to prepare a budget only to submit it and discover, oh, there were some mistakes. Is it that they were not paying attention or that people were not doing their jobs or there was something they forgot? But thank God it did not miss. But Nigerians call all that what Oyibo calls damage control. What has happened, and then they have to find a reason to justify whatever they did. But the joy to many Nigerians is that, yes, we agree with them. Our budget wasn't missing. So now that they found it, they should get to work. The Senate promises that, I think in February, they should be able to be done with it. Okay, we'll find out, and we take them, we give them benefit of doubt, believing that something good will come out of it. I don't know whether I should say so, but I think a lot of Nigerians, if what is on the social media is anything to go by, a lot of Nigerians were a little upset today when we saw the spokesman of the PDP arraigned in court in handcuffs, and a lot of people are saying, is his own, I'm going to speak this English in, like in Nigerian language, is his own different, Somebody gave him 400 million, so they told us. But this person is being accused of 2.1 billion. And he comes to court not in handcuffs, and this man is brought to court in handcuffs like a common criminal. Well, some people say that the treasury looters are worse than common criminals. But yes, if everybody is going to come to court in handcuffs, let everyone come in court with handcuffs. But and that's the feeling a lot of Nigerians are having, that Olisa is being singled out because he spoke so much, talked so much, was a lot of inconvenience to the government, so they had to put him in handcuffs. And I was arguing, well, does the president know who they bring in handcuffs? I mean, this thing happened at the prison, but wherever it happened, a lot of Nigerians think it was not too, I don't know order to say not to dissent, but they didn't treat others like that. Why are they treating Olisa Meto like that? Maybe in the days to come, somebody will rationalize it and tell us why he had to be singled and be taken to court in handcuffs. We leave Olisa Meto for now. Of course, a lot of Nigerians are still, expecting so many other people to come to court because they looted our money, as they say, with careless abandon. So let them come. But they're saying that something has to happen as a deterrent, not just people coming to court. We've seen the FCC do that all over these years. Oh, he's celebrated. Everybody thinks about it. People are clapping in the newspapers. Oh, he's been arraigned. And after 1 month, 2 months, the thing will enter voicemail, like they say in Nigeria, and nothing happens. So we want these prosecutions to be done properly. And like the experts have said, EFCC should get all their facts together before somebody is arrested. It is not proper to arrest somebody and then put him somewhere and then you start, like gathering facts from here and there. Well, so we leave Meto for now and hoping that if something was done wrong, it will be corrected. But if it's normal, that's fine with me. I don't have any problem with that. So today on the program, we'll be focusing on a couple of issues. One is what took place in the Senate today. There was a letter by Mr. President, letting Nigerians know what exactly happened with the budget proposal. So tonight we have a member of the Senate, not just an ordinary member of the Senate, a former governor, former this, former that. He's been in public service for God knows how long. And tonight, he's been in the executive, he's in the legislature, so he will tell us whether there's any possibility that the budget proposal could get missing or be taken back for correction and all that. We have Senator Bukar Abba Ibrahim, Senator, former governor of Yobe State, in our studio tonight. He'll be coming on in a moment. But just sitting beside him, I don't know if you watched the drama that I watched yesterday on television, on live television. And Jimo Ibrahim was having a conference with his company, executives and all that. And from the blues, some labor leaders appeared and disrupted it, you know. They call it picketing. I think that's what they call it in advanced climes, you know. They picketed that executive retreat or executive conference. And why? They said members of the NUJ were being owed salaries. Well, Jimo says, if I found a company, that company should be able to make money. We have members of the NUJ in our studio tonight. We have the Secretary, FCT NUJ, and a staff of Voice of Nigeria, Rafat Salami. She's already in the studio. And then we have the labor leader personified. I think he has a twin brother at the Ministry of Sports. They all, you know, they all wear these caps. So Victorson Agbenson is chairman FRCN NUJ Chapel. They're in the studio to talk about it. But then from Abia State, we have a report. The IPOB Biafran protest was on yesterday. They said a number of people died. The police says nobody died. So on the line, we have the police spokesman for Abia State, and we have one of the correspondents who covered that event yesterday to give us an idea what actually happened. Don't go away. Your show continues in a moment.
I'm the lyrical gangster. Big up the crew in the area. Still love you like that. No, we don't die. Yes, we multiply. Anyone press me, the fire they sing. Act like you know we go. I know what both don't know. Touch them up and go. Oh, just a change. Here come the upstepper. I'm the lyrical gangster. Pick up the crew in the area. Still love you like that. Here come the upstepper. I'm the lyrical gangster. Excuse me, Mr. Officer.
Forced schools to close down, and they took to the streets. It is highly regrettable that some citizens of Nigeria decided to disobey the order on the ban on demonstrations, public procession, and protests for whatever reason.
The Commissioner for Information, Abia State, making the feelings of government known, or rather the displeasure of government about the demonstration by IPOB in Abia State. I have on the line this day correspondent in Abia State, Emmanuel Ugu, who covered that protest in Abia State, especially in Aba. Emmanuel, you're welcome to the O&M Late Show.
Thank you.
Yeah, Emmanuel, please, can you tell us what exactly happened? Of course, there's a controversy on whether some people died and whether some people did not die. The police says nobody died, but your report in this morning says a number of people died. Can you, give us more information on this?
Well, the issue of casualty, there's no doubt about that. People died, although there are varying numbers. But we can say that 3 people, that's the one we are sure, 3 people died, including an athlete who has from Enugu State, who was not even part of the protest. He was sick on his way to have his lunch. So the issue of denying that people died, I don't think people actually died.
Okay, but there's a ban on protests in Abia State by the government. The protesters, were they not flouting the directive of the state government? Were they not going against the law by protesting yesterday like they did?
Sure. There was a ban, I think about 2 weeks ago or so. Government actually announced that all forms of protest, demonstrations should cease. More so because of the situation in the state now over the governorship Thursday.
Yes.
So they didn't want any situation that will get out of hand, and people will capitalize on it to the breach of the security. I think that was the major reason why government decided to ban protests.
Okay, Emmanuel, how would you describe the protest? Was it heavy? Did you have many people participating in it? Or was it just pockets of people that are not happy with what's going on?
I would say it was a pocket of protest. This Japan activists, they can mobilize them, so they have the capacity to mobilize whenever they want to hold any protest. And they also have a way of getting the people who are not even their members to kind of obey whatever they say. For instance, when they say that market is not open, or that shops is not open, people somehow listen to them.
So sometimes they force market.
Might happen if they disobey.
Okay, so sometimes they force.
It wasn't a protest. It was a heavy protest. People they mobilized actually.
Okay,
so like in the previous session.
Okay, so Emmanuel, sometimes they force markets to close.
Yeah, they always announce that markets should close and shops should also close. Even those of them that happened to open yesterday, when the protest started, for fear of maybe having their goods destroyed, they simply closed. And even banks, they also closed. And these are some of the reasons why government and security agencies don't always like the protest to go ahead, because they disrupt commercial, vehicular, and human activities.
Okay, Emmanuel, I must thank you for the information you've shared with us. Thanks a million.
You're welcome.
And also on the line with us is the Police Public Relations Officer for Abia State Command. Sir, you're welcome to our show.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Let me take you up immediately with this controversy and debate about casualty figures. I saw you on TV saying that you saw the protesters, you passed through where they were. You said you were going to one of the media houses for a program and that you didn't see any dead bodies. Are you saying that nobody died in that protest?
Yes, and no. Yes, because when the protest was going on, like I said, I was on ground at Aba together with my Commissioner of Police, Joshua Kabila, and the Commissioner directed that on no account should any live ammunition be used on the protester. In fact, this is the first time since the IPOB Matop protest has been going on that the police will resort to the use of tear gas, smoke, to disperse the rioters, the protesters, because they suddenly turned violent yesterday. Contrary to the way they've been parading themselves before, yesterday they became violent. They blocked the expressway, the Port expressway, with heavy bonfire, and we have to move in to disperse them. And they became violent, throwing stones. They were armed with machetes and charms, and dared the police to come close and throwing stones and hurting some police officers in the process. We have no choice than to resort to the use of smoke, tear gas.
So did anybody die as a result of either controlling them or stopping them? Did we have casualties at all?
Yes, yesterday in the evening, after my interview, after I spoke with the press, this morning I got a signal from the Central Police Station Aba that somebody came to report that somebody was hit, and the police got there and took the person to the hospital where he was declared dead. One person is on our record.
Okay.
That died yesterday.
So how can we stop these protests without loss of lives?
Well, it is all on the hands of the protesters. You will recall that the state government has hitherto issued a directive banning all form of protests or processions rallies before this. I believe that the state government never anticipated what happened yesterday, even before that directive was issued. And before the protest yesterday, the police equally went on air to make a press release directing everybody to adhere strictly to the directive from the state government, banning all forms of protest and rallies. And what happened yesterday, like I told you, had never happened since this protest by the IPOB Masop. Yesterday, they suddenly turned violent. Okay. And what happened, I wouldn't know where the police are looking into the circumstances surrounding the death of that young man.
Okay.
Because from the records of the police, not a single light ammunition was used. Yes, we had to deploy smoke yesterday to disperse them because they were all over the city of Aba, destroying property, disrupting economic activities, stopping people from opening their shops, and those who opened their shops were compelled to lock up their shops. All the traffic stands in Aba metropolis have been destroyed and burnt, set ablaze. You can just imagine the nature of protest yesterday. It has never happened like that before in Aba.
Okay, Onyeke Ezekiel, I must thank you. Onyeke Ezekiel is the Police Public Relations Officer for the Abia State Command. Thanks a million for speaking with us.
You're welcome.
Well, I think it's getting to time that government must be very assertive about what they want to do with this IPOB, MASOB protests, because if it's not well handled, a lot of Nigerians are scared that it may turn into something else. But joining us as we leave Abia State now is distinguished Senator Bukar Abba Ibrahim. He's the senator representing Yobe East in the Senate. He was also governor of Yobe State. Your Excellency, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abira.
Well, today at the Senate,
Yes.
the Senate President read a letter from the President of the Federal Republic,
Correct.
where he was saying that what was now before the House, before the National Assembly, was a corrected version of the budget proposal.
Yes.
What other things did the President say in that letter?
Well, what the president said really was that there was nothing missing, that there were some mistakes that were to be corrected, and he mentioned it in his earlier speech. Only that people didn't take much attention, pay much attention to it at that time. So there was an attempt to correct it, but no figures were changed. The budget still remains the same budget as presented by Mr. Senate President, Mr. President, to the joint houses of the Senate and the House of Representatives, and that we should work
With the new document.
new document, the one he placed before us on the 22nd of December, with some corrections which have not changed the details of the budget, and ignore any other thing which is in circulation. So I think the president did the correct thing in a formal way. What really brought about this problem was the informal way in which some aides in the presidency tried to correct what was to be corrected,
Through the back
but
door.
not in the formal way, through the back door. And the president has a right to formally even withdraw the whole budget if he wanted to and represent it. There's no harm in that, as long as it doesn't go beyond 3 months before the next financial takes over. And now, with what has happened, you still have the financial year extended to the end of March. So
Of next year.
we still have the provision, constitutional provision of 3 months ahead of us. So
Okay.
there's really no problem, serious problem in the whole matter. And tomorrow we are going to start debating.
We
were
understand
supposed-
every one of you got a copy today.
Well, I haven't got one yet, but I believe I will get it in the morning before the comments start, and I don't intend to speak tomorrow anyway. I'm going to do it the next day, so there's no problem. Everybody is supposed to get a copy today. That's what the Senate President announced, that they should go to the Secretary of Appropriation to correct the actual budget plus the corrections for us to start our debate. Our debate, which was supposed to have been started today, Tuesday, is now going to be started on Wednesday. So that really doesn't change anything.
Okay, you know, there's a lot of calls for sanctions, you know, to be meted out to the presidential aide who may have, you know, done this thing not through the normal process. But a lot of other people are saying that he couldn't have done what he did without connivance of some officials of the National Assembly. Is this National Assembly just going to let it go and nobody is going to be punished, nobody is going to be sanctioned, that something as important as a budget proposal, one way or the other, either left the National Assembly and came back and all that? Is it just going to be business as usual?
Well, I don't really think that should be what we should waste our time on, or what we should be so concerned about. It's not important. What is important is for us to get the real budget as presented by Mr. President with the corrections, go through the budget process, pass it so that things will start moving. Nigerians are really concerned about the fact that nothing is happening now, there's no money everywhere. Even in the National Assembly, they will approve all sorts of things, but there's no money to implement it because the budget has not yet been released and all that. That's what really matters for now. The issue of punishing anybody or whatever could come much later. There are relevant committees of the National Assembly that will handle that aspect. For us now, what is important is for us to make a general debate on this budget for 3 days, and thereafter distribute the documents to the relevant committees, who will now go and work on them, return them, so that we are going to have a budget approved by the National Assembly at least by the end of February, so that the much anticipated implementation of the budget will start in March. Well, we're looking forward to that. That really is what matters for now.
Okay, but I'm sorry, distinguished Senator, but I need to take you back a little bit.
Yeah.
Some people are also saying that what we have seen, I mean, as irrelevant as it may seem, that there was an attempt to take this thing back and bring it back without going through the formal process, shows the division in the ruling party. The Senate president is a member of the APC.
Yes.
The president is a member of the APC.
Yes.
I mean, for that kind of thing to happen, it's just a phone call away. These are things we need to do. Is it a sign that there's still some strong divisions in the APC, that APC is still not one party, or that they still don't understand that they are in power?
No, APC is one party. The president, as you know, has been very, very busy with so many things. All these small things people complain so much about are not really very relevant in the presidency. Except, of course...
Like the budget?
No. I'm not talking about the budget, but some elements of the complaints in the budget.
Okay.
I mean, what is it? Even the president has laid a budget, the budget has been accepted, then some mistakes were realized. There was an attempt to correct it. Unfortunately, it wasn't corrected in the formal way. Now we've realized there's need to do it formally, and we're not doing it formally. That's okay. After all, the budget is just an estimate. At the end of the day, what matters is what the National Assembly approves, not necessarily what the president presented.
Well, you were governor.
Yes.
For 10 years.
10 years.
10 years. I think you're about the only one that was governor for 10 years in Nigeria.
Well, one of the two.
One of the two. Okay, the other one was...
Jolly Nyame, Reverend Jolly Nyame of Taraba State.
Late Abubakar would have if he had won the elections.
Correct.
For his second term.
Correct.
Okay.
Very soon we may have one or two others.
Oh.
Including my present governor, the governor of Yobe State.
Okay. So what I'm saying, why I'm saying this is that you've been governor. And the state governments and even the federal government, and that's what we have seen with this particular budget, been accused of doing what they call copy and paste when it comes to budget. No real work is actually done. Most of what you saw in the old budget is lifted and turned over to the other one. And officers and those relevant authorities don't do a thorough job, because one is wondering why something as important as the budget of a nation will get to the National Assembly and we are hearing about mistakes and no mistakes corrections. You were governor. Would you have allowed a thing like this to happen where you were governor?
Well, it's inevitable sometimes. You see, changes bring all sorts of situations and unanticipated situations. This is a new government.
I thought change would be positive, not negative.
Don't forget, Nigeria has been independent since 1960.
Yeah.
There has never been a progressive government in this country until this one. The one that we got nearest to was Abiola, and we all know what the conservative forces got together and did to Abiola. Even when President Buhari was the president for 2 years in the military, he was surrounded by Shylocks of the conservative, very, very conservative people, military and others all around him. And when they discovered that they could not control him, they got rid of him. So when you have this kind of fundamental changes in a country, you're bound to go through quite a number of new things. For as long as those things are not fundamentally against what you intend to do or the government intends to do, we shouldn't worry too much about it. We have now got a president who is trusted, a president who is transparent, a president who is honest, a president who is sincere, and people have elected him freely. And he has gathered a team of people who he's going to work with. Let us exercise patience with some of the little mistakes here and there until we get to the promised land. I mean, look at what has happened to this 2.1 billion US dollars money shared just like that by politicians. I was a senator. I knew nothing about it. I benefited nothing from it.
Would you have accepted if they gave you?
No, I wouldn't. Ever since I have been in public service, I can tell you with all honesty, I have never ever done anything I believe was wrong, I believe was against my principle, just for benefits. Never ever in my life. And I have been in government since I left Ahmadu Bello University in 1975. I've been a junior civil servant, senior civil servant, almost a permanent secretary, commissioner for years, governor for 10 years, senator for 9 years. I have never ever done anything against my conscience. Whatever I did, I'm ready to stand by it anywhere, anytime, in front of anybody, any organization. So I am a different breed of civil servant.
Okay.
Different breed of politician.
Oh.
I have been a NEPO politician right from my childhood in the primary school. And I have been NEPO, PRP, all the other left-wing politicians.
Not mainstream.
Until never ever, and I never ever will be in the mainstream for as long as the conservative forces are in power. And today, for the first time in my life, we've got a central government which is progressive, and I'm ready to die in order to make it succeed.
Okay, you know, you said something about the anti-corruption thrust of the government.
Yes.
And I'm a Nigerian, and I live among Nigerians.
Of course.
A lot of us are saying that, yes, it's good, you're fighting, the government is fighting corruption.
Yes.
And the corruption that they're fighting against
it's also
is
fighting
for our
back.
own good. It's for our own good.
And it's also fighting back.
Yes, but it's for the good of Nigerians.
Of course.
But the fear is that by the time you finish fighting the corruption, a lot of us are saying that a lot of Nigerians would have been dead and they won't be able to partake in the positives that will come. That the government is just talking about corruption. Our naira is skyrocketing. The price of food items are going up, and there's a lot of suffering in the country. Are we just going to be talking about corruption?
When do you think you're going to finish fighting corruption? Corruption will never be fought to the zero level in our lifetime, and probably even in the lives of our children. All we're trying to do is to minimize, raise consciousness of the people that corruption is killing Nigeria. If we don't kill corruption, like President Buhari always says, corruption will kill Nigeria. To raise awareness. But corruption is not something you fight over 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or even 10 years or whatever. It will go on. We'll continue minimizing the corruption level. We'll continue raising the awareness of Nigerians about the dangers of corruption and leave the fight to those behind us to continue.
Is it possible for a government to do what they call multitasking? That means that you are doing a couple of things at the same time, fighting corruption, taking care of our naira, making sure that salaries are paid, and all that.
Of course, why not? We're not 1 or 2 people. There are millions of Nigerians who are involved in this. So why can't they do a multitasking?
Yeah, but a lot of Nigerians are complaining about the hunger that is pervading the nation right now.
Well, Nigerians have always lived with hunger, particularly ordinary Nigerians. And that's what we are trying to fight. We don't want them to permanently live in hunger. We are trying to minimize the level of hunger. Even hunger itself has various levels, from the hungriest to the most contented. Our struggle has always been to make things better. It doesn't mean that we can do that in 1 year or 2 years or 3 years or whatever, but we'll continue to fight. We'll not be tired of fighting. We'll not rest until we end, and then others continue from where we have stopped.
Anyway, you are not just a senator.
Hunger is a relative thing.
You are not just a senator.
Somebody eats 3 meals a day. Some people eat 2 meals a day. What they call 111, 101,
or 100.
010, and so on and so forth.
Okay. So I was saying that you're not just a senator.
So the new
You're also an elder statesman.
Of course I am.
As we conclude our conversation,
Yes.
what would you have to say about the rising agitation across the country? Of course, if you watched when we started, IPOB, MASOB is out there in the southeast. Northeast is something that's ongoing.
Completely
yes.
different.
There's a resurgence of militancy
Yes.
in the south-south.
Yes.
As an elder statesman, how would you suggest that this government should go? Especially with these ones that are coming up. How can they tackle it? You know, as we were told when we were growing up, if you nip it in the bud, it's usually better. Because a lot of people have complained about the mismanagement of Boko Haram when it started.
Well, the issue is, as so many people have said it over and over again, this Biafra issue is just an idea. It's a concept. It may never die. But that does not mean that Biafra will ever come to fruition. I totally agree with President Obasanjo when he said Biafra is dead. Biafra definitely is dead. That is not to say you still not get people who believe in it, but because of their sheer smallness in number, they might not be able to realize it all their lives, and they leave it to other people as an idea, and they will continue and so on and so forth until it probably gradually disappears in decades. Obviously today in Nigeria, I don't think it is reasonable for anybody to think that a new state would be created, whether Biafra or whatever name, within this country. Now, the Biafran protagonists are in eastern
Nigeria.
Eastern Nigeria. You have south, you have southwest, you have north central, you have the north. Even if you are allowed to go, if they are allowed to go tomorrow, what impact are they going to make? The big market is all surrounding them. There is a small market right in the center of landmass. They have no opening to the seas. They have nothing whatsoever which would not go through Nigeria. How on earth do we expect such an entity?
But they're talking about marginalization.
Well, they have a sense in that. We can talk about the marginalization. We can sit down and talk with them on how to minimize the marginalization. After all, the marginalization really is not the worst in the southeast. The worst is in the northeast, where we have the militancy, the Boko Haram. Studies have been carried out in the presidency where it was shown that ongoing and abandoned projects in Nigeria of 99 billion naira is in the northeast. 160 billion naira is in the southeast. 270 million naira is in the north central. 300 and something thousand million naira in the northwest. Then the last one is, or the one before last, is southwest. The place where the president came had over 2 trillion abandoned and ongoing projects. That just shows how Nigerian politics goes, and that shows how Nigerians are always struggling to make their own the president or the vice president or whatever. I mean, imagine the South having over 2 trillion projects, while the Northeast has only 90 billion, and the Southeast has only 160 billion.
So,
I mean, imagine the ridiculous.
So we should look at the marginalization.
Yes, we should look at that marginalization, try to correct it on an ongoing
across board
level, across board.
Okay.
There is so much injustice in that. So I don't blame people who are talking about Biafra, Biafra, Biafra when you look at it from that angle. But taking it overall, I don't think it is in the interest of anybody to start talking about creating any other nation out of Nigeria. I totally agree with the Biafrans, and I totally agree with the Northeasterners over what is happening. Marginalization is definitely there. Injustice is definitely there. And there can never be peace without justice. And these are things we must sit down and talk and discuss and agree and implement. And that's where my president comes in.
Okay.
He's all, I believe, ready for that. He's all out for that.
Okay. Okay.
He sympathizes with the Northeast. He sympathizes with the Southeast.
Okay,
the
distinguished.
injustice being meted out to those two regions in particular, two geopolitical zones in particular in Nigeria today.
Okay, distinguished Senator, I must thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
And I'm sure you'll come back.
Inshallah.
There are so many things to talk about.
Yes, I know. We'll continue talking until we solve the problems.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
I have a little gift for you, just
my
a keepsake that you wear on our show.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll definitely take tea with this.
When we return, we talk about the NUJ and their fight against salary denial for its members. Don't go away.
Of China. Don't stop the camera. Are you not a journalist? Why would you tell him to stop the camera? No. You think we are joking here? Okay, so you want to do lecturers market rates and market rates. So it's important for you to look at exactly what the problems like. Now, the gentleman want him to let them know in the lecture that he is owing for 9 months, 6 months, and 1 year, respectively, in all the media organizations he established. What kind of lecture is he doing? What kind of lecture?
Well, in case you missed it, that clip you saw has been trending in the internet and has been all over several television stations. And this happened on live TV. The Jimo Ibrahim Energy Group were having a conference which was picketed and disrupted by members of the NUJ, who were accusing the billionaire businessman of owing months of salaries, a backlog of salaries. Well, I have with me Victor Agbenson, Chairman FRC and NUJ, and Secretary of FCT NUJ, Rafat Salami, in the studio to share with us what exactly happened.
Thank you so much for having us.
You're welcome. Please sit down. Well, Victor, I saw you. I mean, I didn't miss you at all. I saw your red cap and your red jacket. You were out there and you were disrupting that event.
Yeah.
Was that the most civilized thing to do?
Yes, at that point in time, because of what had been transpiring, we did not just decide to do that. We had written twice to the management of, under the leadership of Mr. Jimo Ibrahim. We have copies of the letters, but the man did not even deem it necessary to even respond to the issues we were raising. We are talking about 9 months, 13 months, salaries not being paid. Where I work, government pays me every month, and I'm still managing. Now, come to think of those who, at the end of the day, nothing comes in. And so, we had to do that.
Madam, do you think, what actually were the issues? What actually were the issues?
The issues are very simple. There is a contractual agreement between you and your employee, and you have to fulfill that contractual obligation. You have said you're going to pay them salaries at the end of each month. You pay them at the end of each month. You have agreed on how much you're going to pay them. You pay them when they, at the right time. You don't wait for them to demand. And when we now demand and you are ignoring us, we need your attention. And we got his attention yesterday. So we are going to take it up from there. He sacked some of our colleagues and he didn't pay them severance benefits. And all these are what we are asking for. There are other several allowances that have not been paid over the years. And we want them
That's for Newswatch?
Yes.
And Mirror?
Mirror. And the magazine, the Newswatch Times.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Some people are saying, was this just a Jimo Ibrahim thing? Because there are a lot of other, in the media industry, and even outside the media industry, you have issues of salaries being owed. Why did you target Jimo Ibrahim particularly?
He is not really a target. We closed down Daily, we sealed Daily Independence office.
Of course.
In Abuja here, and simultaneously in Lagos in October.
Really?
We sealed their offices. And we have written several other media organizations that are owing staff salary. We have written them. Many of them replied. And when you reply, you have established a communication link. You have told us you are willing to talk. And we are engaging many of them in that direction. But when you ignore us completely, we call your attention. And we got it. So now discussions are going to start.
That's right.
And for us, the only discussion we want is for you to immediately start paying salaries. Because it's an abuse of their fundamental human rights.
But Jimo Ibrahim, I saw him on live television saying that whether it was morally right for him to take money from other companies that were doing well in his group and use it to pay organizations that were not making money enough to pay something as little as their salary. Because Jimo Ibrahim does not work for the Red Cross. He's not a Red Cross. He's not a philanthropist. So why won't those companies generate money enough to take care of?
That line of thought is the most annoying line of thought I have had in this argument, in this discussion.
Why?
My duty as a reporter, as a journalist, is not to make money for you. My duty is to generate content. And I am going to be measured only by the quantum of content I generate. These are terms that are agreed upon. I am not in business development. I am not an advert representative.
Or marketing.
I am not in marketing. I generate content. And that is what you employed me to do. Whether you make money or not is none of my business. What my business is to do my job and get paid for my job.
But assuming he feels they're not doing their job if you
are not doing your job well, you have to ask him, did he put in the right structure that will make that business to sell? It is not for me. You have an editorial policy. Am I meeting up with that editorial policy?
That's why
you have a vision and a mission. Have I keyed into it? If I have keyed into it, how you make your money is your problem. Let me tell you what we are doing here. What we are doing is using the media platform to give visibility to other business concerns. Okay? Dictating how the media platform runs so that the other business concerns continue to make profits. Then you turn around and tell me you took money from there, you brought it here, you are not making money. Are you running it the way it should be run?
He's not.
Like if adverts from the other companies are placed on Mirror or Newswatch, they don't pay for those adverts?
That's not even what I meant.
Oh, yeah.
What I meant is you are giving yourself visibility through the platforms, the media platforms you created. And you are not allowing the media platforms to run the way a media platform
professionally.
Professionally. You are dictating editorial policy. You are not a journalist. You are walking into the newsroom. You are removing stories. You are deciding which will be headlines.
No editorial board chairman.
And you are telling me that I'm not making money.
Okay, so
there's no functional editorial board. He comes, he does what he likes. If you pick, today I picked a copy of Newswatch magazine. You will not see adverts. The same with Mirror, because he has reduced the credibility of those platforms, those papers. Now, if he continues to do that, the likelihood is that the papers will continue to go down because of his character, because of the things that he does. We are trying at our level at NUJ not to make it personal, but if he begins to go this way, he's going to lose because he lacks the credibility. Now, do we begin to ask questions? Because we had governments that did not ask questions. Every of these things that he bought over through shady deals, how is it that all those things are dying? Do we talk about Nikon Luxury that's been taken over by rodents and rats? Or name the other.
Let's stay with.
Where we want to go from here is simple.
Yes.
Where we want to go is this: we want people who own media houses to fulfill their contractual obligations. It is not in the interest of the Nigeria Union of Journalists to see any media house closed down. It is also not in the interest of any proprietor to see their staff not doing well. If you will measure how well you are doing by how well I'm doing. So that's if right. You don't pay my salary, I can't pay my rent, I can't pay my children's school fees, I can't go back to school to study, I have dependents, I can't care for them. What quality of life am I going to live?
But let's talk about, is it our laws? Is it our system? Because I was just reading in the papers either yesterday or the day before, and I discovered that our Rise TV, a new TV station
in the UK
has been shut down, and the reason was they were not meeting their salary obligations, their wage obligations, and paying their suppliers and stuff like that. That's right. And it wasn't even the journalists that took the action. Is there something wrong with our labor policies and laws?
There's something wrong with our system. Because in all these discussions, when we engage media owners, do you know what they tell us? Do you want me to close down? If I close down, do you know how many people will be out of job? For God's sake, if you are insolvent, you'll be liquidated.
That is it.
Okay. You are liquidated, we sell your assets, you pay
the staff.
And everybody is happy.
Okay, I must tell.
And out of the ashes of the ruins of your organization, many more will sprout.
That is it.
Well, I'd like to thank you, Rafat Salami, Secretary of FCT NUJ. You also a staff of Voice of Nigeria. Victorson Agbenson, Chairman FRCN NUJ. Yeah. Thanks for your time and coming to talk about this. I have a little gift for you just to show that you were on our show.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. Wow. And we hope that those issues are resolved soon.
Thank you so much.
They pay us for no wahala at all.
Pay us and we're happy.
Well, that's
Thank you.
Our show for tonight. If you enjoyed it, let's do it again on Sunday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I am Obiora Ilo from Abuja, Nigeria. Do have a wonderful, nice rest.